So how does it feel, Coach, to be ending the season? I know at the beginning of the season everyone thought playoffs were in order,
Yes.
but you're going home.
Yeah, I mean it's not a great feeling. We're definitely have a lot of work to do going forward. Our goal was to be a playoff team and be one every year. A lot of things happened this year. It's been definitely an up and down season, but as you go through an NBA season or an NBA career, sometimes you got to find beauty in the struggle, and we've had some moments where we struggled. Uh, it's time for me, it's only been half a day. It's time for me. I definitely will reflect and look at myself first, and then our staff, and then how we can move forward and be a better team, and focus on the things that we have to get better to improve on, and those will come about in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
I always hear coaches say they learn a lot through adversity. Is it too early to ask you what you learned through the many adversities this season?
Well, the biggest one that I love, that we still kept playing and fighting for one another, and there wasn't excuses that we had some tough luck this year. So that's always something I've learned coaching this team the last few years. Hopefully we can grow from it and move on from it and be better from it. And it has been a challenge, and but it's a challenge that our guys embraced, and we ended up short of our goal of being a playoff team, but it wasn't because the guys did not care or did not stop playing and competing.
Scott, Ted talked about culture during his recent press conference. And
Yeah.
a lot of players have talked about culture too. What is your view of the culture here, and why does it need to be changed in their estimation?
Oh, I haven't. Winning is important to all of us, and it takes a culture that does everything consistently every day. And like I said, there's things that happened this year that we could not control, but the things that we can control, I'm going to look at myself and be better at those things, and you have to. It's one thing. We're not a culture that blames one another. We're a culture that has to look at one another and try to make us each other better, and it starts from me, and then it goes down to the staff, and we have to help that along to make our players better. And with all that being said, we've had a lot of good things that happen to us as well. It's just not all about making the playoffs. There's no question. That was our goal, but a lot of things happened, and a lot of good things that happened with our younger guys getting better and improving going forward. That's going to be a big step in their development going into the summer and next season.
So
How do you anticipate?
what are some of those things that you say that you can do better?
Like I said, it just, as you go through an NBA season, you don't have time to focus on the things that you need to reflect on to get better on. That's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
How do you anticipate the next few?
It's a fine.
It wasn't me. It wasn't
Who
me.
was it?
It wasn't me.
Someone over there.
Someone
Someone
on
over
that corner.
there. I know my ears aren't good.
How do you anticipate the next few weeks will go based on the conversation you had with Ted, and just because there's a lot up in the air?
I trust Ted in the process that he's working through. We obviously we're in the process of finding a new general manager, and Ted is going to find the best possible person to lead us forward, and we're all excited about it. We have definitely a challenging summer ahead of us with a lot of guys in their final year of their contract, And so a lot of important decisions have to be made going forward to improve our team and bring players in as well to improve our team. And Ted has known him for 3 years now. He's been great, and he's been on board with what we need to do. And I trust that he's going to bring in a person that's going to lead us forward to many years.
With
What if-
culture, Ted also mentioned that before it was like a hierarchy, and he wanted to respect who was at the top and not try to undermine anybody. Moving forward, he wants a more collaborative culture.
Mhm.
You've said throughout your 3 years that whenever there's like a trade happening, that you and Ernie converse and you're right on page. But what did the collaboration look like, and how does it need to improve moving forward?
Well, I mean, it's obviously everybody has a boss, and I respect my boss and my bosses, and that's just the way the business of basketball is. It's not. I share in those decisions. I don't make the final decision, just like my assistant coaches share in our decisions as plays and schemes and players playing. I make the final decision, and you have to have that type of respect going on and going forward. We have to. There's no difference in my relationship with Ernie from my relationship with the next guy. We're going to have one, and we're going to have to move together and build this team together. A lot of things happened that was nobody's fault. They just happened, unfortunately. Some of our best players did not play for most of the year or over half the year, and that puts you in a tough position. But I'm excited about working with the next person, whoever that may be, and but we also know it's going to be a challenge because we have some things that we have to do as an organization with our players and free agency and bring in new guys because we have to and we want to get better and we want to improve as a group.
Have you been able to put Scott Brooks' stamp on your teams?
Yeah, I mean I get to coach a team that I love to coach. I love to do what I do, and we're obviously our mentality is no excuses, and we had plenty of excuses built in that, with the tough luck that we had, but we still have to go out there and compete. We lost a lot of close games this year, and I take the responsibility of I could have done better, and going forward I need to be better, and we will be better. Some of our guys that got some great experience this year will improve over the summer, and year over year when you have younger players you see a bigger jump in improvement because the game slows down for them, and defensively that's the hardest thing for players to pick up. And I met with a few of our players already, and we're excited about improving over the summer.
You mentioned defense. Obviously this year that was a struggle for you guys, and over the course of the 3 years it's been a struggle at times by the numbers.
Yeah.
When you look at it now, you have an opportunity to reshape the roster. There's only a handful of guys that we know are back. Do you look at it as bringing in different types of people to help your scheme, or do you view it as readjusting the scheme?
It's going to be a combination. Obviously, the guys that are coming back are going to get more experience, and then we have opportunities to bring in guys with our flexibility that we have. But it's the new person in charge, the new general manager, along with myself and obviously Ted, will play a big part in moving the team forward. I can't emphasize this point enough. We didn't make the playoffs. We're very disappointed in it. But with that also, we had a lot of good moments that we can build on. And you sometimes, especially when it's so raw, and it's just happened last night, the season finale, that you always focus on what went wrong, but there's a lot of things that went right, and a lot of things going forward that's going to help us improve as a team. I mean, Brad had a monster year. He grew in a lot of areas that, you know, over these last 2 or 3 years, that a lot of people did not think that he would grow as quick. I mean, 4 years ago, there was a lot of things written and said about him that before I got here, that when I got here, I was shocked that I was reading and hearing all those things. That guy is a winner. He is as tough as they come. But with that being said, we have a lot of young guys that were in his position 4 years ago that you didn't know which way they were going to be. But if you see them every day and you get to be around them every day, you see the work that they put in, you're going to see a lot of improvement. Hopefully we can sign back some of those guys. I've been in this league long enough. I know everybody's not going to sign back. You don't have the entire roster, as you always, even the teams that win a championship don't always bring back the rosters. We won 32 games, so our roster is going to be different. But I like the potential pieces that we can bring back, add on to a draft pick that's going to be a good pick and a really good player, and then also acquire some good free agents. We can get back where we need to be.
John said last night he thought the amount of expiring contracts was kind of a detriment. He's experienced that in the past. Do you think that was an issue this year?
We had 10 of them. That's normally a larger number than normal, but you still got to play ball, and you still got to go out there and compete. It's about the best thing. Always told the free agents, the best thing about a free agency is you have to be able to impact winning, and when you impact winning, everybody gets the best opportunity to be taken care of. And we didn't win enough games, and so there's going to be changes, and changes already has happened, but that's part of it. But I'm excited about the potential guys that we can bring back to our team going forward, and we will have guys on our team that are going to help us get where we need to get to.
Scott, do you anticipate any potential changes on the assistant coaching staff?
At this point, I don't know, but everything's on the table. Everything's on the table. We have to, myself and my staff, and I have to be, I have to evaluate just like Ted and our new person that will evaluate as well. But it's a lot of things we have to look at, and everything's on the table.
Coach, earlier this year, Sato said he was a bit hurt by, what happened with Ty Lawson the year before the playoffs. So, just kind of what led to that decision, and how did you manage to mend your relationship with Sato this year?
I think that's probably a little harsh. Mending relationship with Sato. Sato's been a great teammate, a guy that you can coach him. It's always about getting our team in a position to win, and we had an opportunity to bring players in this summer, last summer, 2 summers from now. We're going to do that to get our team better. And it's always about that. My responsibility to Ted and our fans is to try to get the best team possible. And that's just part of being a head coach, and I've been a player for many years, and that's part of it. And it's always about doing your job and doing it every day, and Thomas has always been great.
You used the phrase "everything's on the table." What, if anything, have you been told about your status moving forward?
It's always, after the season, it's always the same. We all will be evaluated on how we did our job, and we move forward. I love what I do. I love the city that I'm doing something I love to do in. But Ted makes all those decisions. But I'm excited about moving forward with the group that we have and the potential that we have, and also the challenge that we have. I haven't been told anything different. I'm not saying this in an arrogant way, but I worry about my job day to day. I don't worry about long term. I worry about doing my job today, and then if that's good, I can do it again tomorrow.
Back on media day, we were told that Dwight Howard's back situation was effectively a day-to-day thing. Didn't seem like it was a long-term issue. Obviously, the season played out the way that it did. What changed from that initial statement to how the season unfolded?
Yeah, I mean, nobody can predict the body. I mean, it's not. You can use all the experts and all the great medical staff that we have, Dwight had, and there's nothing. It's when we first heard about the news, it was day to day. I thought, okay, worst case, he's going to miss, 6 or 7 days of training camp. I thought, joking around, I thought, okay, he's a veteran. I've been around a lot of veterans that can, I have a sore back. I don't want to go through 2-a-days. That obviously wasn't the case. And then give him credit. He fought and challenged himself to get back, and he actually played pretty well. And he wasn't at, he wasn't 100% at that time, and he still averaged, 13 and 9 in like 20-something low minutes. But it turned for the worse, and he had to do what was best for him. And I'm glad he did that, because it relieved a lot of the issues that he had. And then coming back from rehab, an unfortunate thing happened. He pulled the hamstring, and then that basically shut down for the 74 games that he missed. But can't do nothing about that now. It was nobody's fault.
Obviously, we're months away from the start from training camp and so on, so we'll see obviously how he progresses. But second back surgery, 32, 33, you see he's got a lot of miles on him and so on. He's got the player option, we get that, but do you think he plays for this team next year?
I'm not sure. He's under contract. It's his option. I'm sure he's focusing on getting healthy as we are. We want him to be healthy. He's a very talented player that we was counting on this season. Going into last season, we focused on a couple areas that we need to get better, and he provided those areas at a high level. The year before, I think he played 81 games and averaged 17 points and 13. That's pretty incredible as a center in today's game, 17 and 13, and play 81 games. We didn't have that, and he's disappointed, and we're all disappointed. A lot of things, those are things that we can't control. He couldn't control. It's just, sometimes the body doesn't respond, and hopefully with his surgery that he can move forward and have a productive end of his career.
What would you like to see Troy Brown work on this summer, and is there any directive, to learn point guard or focus on point guard or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't think necessarily one thing. I think he's going to be one of those stat filler type players that he can rebound, he can pass, he can defend, he can score, he can shoot the ball, he can make plays. But I don't think, I'm not going to put a ceiling or put a game plan together that you're only going to be a point guard or you're going to be the next point guard. He's going to have to play a lot of different positions, because I think he has the versatility. He's 19 years old, and there's going to be a big change, not only from the mental side of the game, but the physical side. I mean, we all can remember when we were that age, your body changes, and he's going to get bigger. He's going to get, stronger. His body's going to be more defined, and those are the things that we want him come back next summer is a better player, not only on the court, but his body is going to have to improve, and it will, because he does work hard and he's young. He's going to respond pretty quickly. From a basketball standpoint, he's going to have to just continue to be, like I said, a complete game. His game can be much better in all areas, and it will, because of his work that he puts in.
Coach, what was a high point of this season for you and a low point of this season?
I mean, it's always the low point at the end of the season, because there's nothing better than preparing for a first-round matchup. No matter what seed you are, you still have that high hope of, you know what, we're going to upset the number 1 seed or whatever seed you are. Or if you're a high seed, we're going to start the series off right and put our force into the game, or our game plan. So this is definitely the low part. You know, the high part is seeing a lot of young players get better. There's nothing better for a coach to see the growth of a young player, picking things up and learning from other veteran players and from our staff, and implementing and using them and impacting winning. We definitely didn't win enough, but there's a lot of good things that we have hope going into next season with some of the challenges that we will face this summer. We still have some good things going forward that we can work on and improve on and then grow from.
What's been your hardest season as a coach?
I mean, it's definitely is one of the challenging seasons, but it's a grind, but it's a grind that I love to do. There's not a lot of downtime and rest periods, and it's definitely, you have to, it's a challenge to manage an NBA season, because there's always ups and there's always downs, and then you have to be able to handle both of them and try to keep the team moving forward. But it's definitely a challenge, but
Looking,
it's part of it.
sorry.
This is the challenge, staying focused after 3 alarms.
Coach, Bradley
Turn it
Beal
off.
really improved in the clutch this year. What kind of adjustments did you make to make that happen?
Yeah, I really believe, you know, Brad's gotten better all over the floor. He's gotten better. He works. Brad, he works every day. I mean, we already talked about him working this summer and improving in a lot of areas, and he will. He puts time into the game. He comes back every year just a little bit better from the year before, and you can argue it's going to be tough to come back from 26-5-5, but he finds ways. Maybe it's not going to be as many points, but he finds ways to improve and impact the game that needs to do, and he will. He's been great for 3 years with me.
Looking back, can you pinpoint a moment, a game, something when it became clear things were headed in the wrong direction this season?
You know, I've always thought that we were going to compete for the playoffs until we didn't have a chance. I mean, it was obviously, I didn't have my head in the sand. I knew it would be pretty tough because we had to get on a nice run, and we lost a lot of close games prior to that. But at that point, I was still focused on moving the team forward and still getting out there competing and still give ourselves a chance to win. And then, you know, the last 3 or 4 games, it was more important to, you know, give the younger players opportunities to try to win games in the fourth quarter and give them some of those fillings, and we did. I thought we accomplished that. We didn't get the wins that we would like to have had, but we accomplished those goals.
Have you met with Ted since last week, and do you know when you'll meet with him next?
I haven't met with them, and we'll meet with them soon, and we'll talk to them like I've always done soon.
Did you meet with Dwight yet?
Dwight, I haven't. He's on, I think, sometime later this afternoon.